And here we go again, May 25th, 2017. I am your host, Renegade Smith, and hopefully we'll be joined very shortly by my man, Ninja Scroll. The gas pedal's on the right, brother. Just you step on that pedal on the right, and the car goes faster and faster and faster. Anyway, welcome everybody to the show. Tonight's topic, Flat Earth Testimonies, Part 3, and we have a very, very, very special guest coming tonight. Anyone read the promo, you'll know who's coming on. But she used to be employed with NASA, Lockheed Martin, U.S. Air Force Civil Service, and a couple other places. And so this is going to be an awesome testimony. I cannot wait to hear it. In the meantime, I'm going to buy Ninja 5 more minutes, and then we're going to go live with our guest. So I'm going to play a song real quick, so everybody hang tight. And this is my boy Devin Crusade. The song is called God's Got Me. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Ninja, gas is on the right. Hammer down.
It's time to all I know is that God got me. All I know is that God got me. Armor God, that's all on me. That enemy, no, he can't stop me. Training monsters, I'm not Rocky. Don't need Bravo, I'm not Johnny. I'm speaking truth because I lack folly. Want me to change? Well, I'm sorry, don't rely on you because God got me. You and I were like one and the same. You wanted the view, I wanted the fame. Attention was key to one day it changed. And now I'm trusting God, that's a bigger high. Spread the gospel, that's a bigger job. Live a life of symbol, those are bigger odds, but God got me. Used to live my life a sinner. Whoa. Saint trying to eat me for dinner. Whoa. Then I put God at the center. Whoa. Satan starved a cold winter. Go. Then I put my trust in God. Defy the odds. The enemy's no longer in charge. Sin was like a barrage. Took it applause. Guess that means Satan is flawed. Live with the spirit, you fight with the sword. Spiritual battles get fought at the core. Like surely CGS is battle, not yours. It belongs to the Lord. And all I know is that God got me. And all I know is that God got me. Yeah, all I know is that God got me. I said, all I know is that God got me. All I know is that God got me. Yeah, I said, all I know is that God got me. Flow sound nice, but it speak true. When the light shines, you'll see through. You can try to hide, but he see you. Yeah, he see you, and I love God cause he know me, and I know I'll never be lonely. And if I'm upset, then he hold me. Said his only son instead of souls free. Life sound more like poetry. And God took the time just to notice me, locked away my sin, and then he thrown the key. We're in a spiritual battle. Don't know your weapons, you bound to get trampled. Jonah the prophet was just an example, cause what you do next will determine your cancel. Wait, what I mean is, if it's a phoenix, gotta get high like Texas beaches. But know where to block it off like a free kick. No second chances like the remix. Tell me, can you see this? If you see this, cause fear feasting like some leeches. So the spirit can slay demons. The true righteousness takes meek to genius. And all I know is that God got me. Walk me up so I'm not sloppy. Since the chain they tried to stop me, but these broken chains now God got me. All I know is that God got me. All I know is that God got me. All I know is that God got me. I said all I know is that God got me. Asking me about all I know. This flow ain't no rodeo. This true serum is the antidote. Sin's got us in a ransom hole. Only Lord that is the answer to it. Died on the cross, it can stand for you. Now I got one question: will you stand for truth? Now the road is hard and it gets tough. In a world that thrives on lust, I believe in the Creator, so no luck. Only thing I got is full trust in the King of Kings, Prince of Peace. Every morning I thank Him 'cause I can breathe. He died on the cross, set our soul free. Died on the cross just to meet me. Truthfully, I hate rap. Got a question about my living, you can add every crusade. Let's make it the gospel act. So I answer back and check, real glad. Back to the topic at hand. God is incredible, His will stand. Man, I got fans, I got friends. Truth is, you should go and play this again. Truth is, you should go and play this with friends. Let them hear the truth that God is within. 'Cause you gotta faith, you gotta defend. Spread the gospel so the devil can't win. Jesus set a place for us in heaven. All we gotta do is follow the King. Let our voices cry out as we sing. Jesus is Lord, let the enemy flee. I ain't got much, but I suffer through the struggle. And I got a God who's there on the double, lifting me up and defend me for trouble. So now I like Him, here to tell you, like, spiritual battle won't end so lightly. The enemy works just to spite me. My feet stand firm 'cause the King won't drop me. 'Cause all I know is that God got me. All I know is that God got me. All I know is that God got me.
Yugi, you lost the duel.
All right, and we are back. This is the new element. It's Renegade Smith, and I just heard from Ninja. He'll be joining us in a little bit. He's falling behind, and his foot got confused. It's all good, though. We love the man. I can't wait till he gets on here and joins us. In the meantime, we're just going to get right to business tonight. We're not even going to mess around. I'm going to bring our guest in. Very special guest. I'm excited to do this show. She has one heck of a testimony, and I cannot wait to hear it. With no further ado, Cyndi. Welcome to the new element, Cyndi.
Hey, Renegade. How are you?
I am doing very good. How are you?
I'm awesome. Ninja's
so
running
has
late?
yeah, he's it happens sometimes with him.
Yeah, that's all right.
It's all good. he'll be joining us shortly. He is a very, very busy man.
I understand. Well, can I do a shout out to my friends?
Go ahead. You want to give a shout out? Go for it.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. I love you. You all know who you are. Thank you for coming on and listening tonight. I hope I do well. I hope I support our cause. God bless you guys.
Yes, anyone listening online, if you need to step away from your computer and you want to continue to listen to the show, believe it or not, you can hear the show over your phone, and you don't have to go to the web link. All you got to do is call the phone number that's right there on your screen, 319-527-6012. Call and you listen over your phone, like calling your BFF. You just listen to the phone, put it on speaker, and sit there and make some waffles or something. I don't know, light your refrigerator on fire. Do whatever you want to do. So, speaking of lighting refrigerators on fire, how's that heat out there? You want to send some of that heat this way?
Oh, yeah. It's been way too hot. We've been in the hundreds already. I'm pretty sure it's only May still. Yeah.
That term "way too hot" doesn't fly too well with me. I don't believe in that term. The hotter, the better.
Oh, you'd love it here.
Well, the difference between there and here, from what they say, is you guys got what's called a dry heat. Over here, it's hot and humid, and the humidity. I guess people complain the most about it. I mean, it's just you walk outside and you just say you just got done getting your shower, and I put the water on. I'm not kidding. Cold.
Yeah. We got monsoons, so we do get some humidity.
When you get them, what do they call the Santa Ana winds that come in through there, and are all
no,
just
that's
dry.
California, wrong state.
Oh, okay, that's right. Well, I don't know how far up they go and how wide they spread out on this earth.
Santa Ana is in California.
Oh, okay. So, I really can't wait for you to get into your testimony. And our listeners know we love testimonies. It really helps people to be able to relate and say, hey, I went through the same thing, or I'm going through the same thing, or I know somebody that did this, and these are the same questions I got on my mind, and it's just I love testimonies. And even before doing radio, I used to love hearing people's testimonies. They're just powerful, and I think it's an awesome tool to bring people to God for one, but also to help other people to relate. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Well, let's go into when your story, like when you started. I guess when you turned your life over to the Lord. And
okay, I can start with my salvation testimony, and then I can go into my other testimony.
And if you want to give us a glimpse on your childhood and all this, so we kind of know like your upbringing and all, because I think that's a biggie as well.
It actually has a lot to do with my testimony. So, yeah, my childhood will definitely affect it. So, you want me to get started?
Yeah, absolutely. Just
right.
Go ahead. And I might, like I said, I might stop you kind of here and there just to kind of question on a few things, or, kind of pick at your brain. So I'm not trying to be rude and interrupt you.
No, not at all. I was born a long time ago. My natural birth mom was a hippie. She was a drug addict. And so my siblings and I were removed from our parents' home when I was 7. My brother was 8, and my sister was 3. And so the beginning of my life started out pretty complicated. My brother and I were adopted by one family and our sister by another. And so I never really knew who God was. I never heard about God, never went to church that I remember. There was a lot of dysfunction. And so when we were adopted, we were put into a different kind of atmosphere where there was still no God and there was still no Jesus, but there was structure. And that sort of bothered me because I wasn't used to structure. And so the more of that I had, the more rebellious I became. And I started to pick the wrong friends as I got older and made bad choices the older I got. And so by the time I was a young teen, I was smoking cigarettes and drinking beer and hanging out with my friends and having a great time, and didn't really care about much other than my friends. So, again, I had no idea who I believed in God. I always believed in God. I don't know why that is.
Now, you say you were drinking beer. Like, were you kicking back 40s or just having like a little 12-ouncer here and there?
Oh, yeah. It wasn't anything. I mean, I'm not a big girl, so I couldn't handle much.
So I was just joking around. I can see you walking down the street with a big old 40 in your hand.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it was like a Boone's Farm or something. I don't know if you know what Boone's Farm is, but back when I was growing up, that was the thing to drink. It was flavored wine. It was nasty.
That reminds me of Mad Dog. Mad Dog 2020. It's called Mad Dog 2020. Oh, that stuff is insane. Anyway, okay. Go ahead. Continue on.
So anyway, I spent, I don't know how many years being rebellious and getting in trouble and, making things worse because I wanted my mom. I couldn't have my mom. I couldn't have my dad. I had adopted parents that were structured and formal and didn't have a lot of affection. And I was in contact with my natural mom, who was never really snapped out of it. She was always kind of a mess, but always wanted to keep in touch with her. So anyway, I started to date a guy in my 20s, and I was about 22 when I met him, and his mom had breast cancer. and they needed someone to help round the clock with her. She was on hospice, and of course, having to change her diapers and different things. She didn't want the guys to do it. She wanted the girls to do it. And there were two options, myself and one of the other girls. And so I spent every night with her for 3 months. And typically I would spend the days with her as well. So it turned into 3 months of me hearing a neighbor come over and share the Lord with her. And this woman, the woman who was dying, her name was Jackie. And the woman who shared the Lord with her name was Sue. And I just listened. And she would do praise songs, and she would read the Bible, and she would share Jesus and God and heaven. And I just sat there listening. I was young, and I was just full of myself, and I had no idea. But right in front of me, the gospel was being presented day after day after day, and it just amazing. Yeah. I fell in love with these women. Like, I really fell in love with them. And so Jackie passed away, and it really hurt. That was the first true loss I had experienced where I was close to somebody. And so when she passed away, I was just really upset. And Sue contacted me and said, would you like to go to church? And my firstborn son was 3. I said, yeah, I'll show up with my son. And so we went to church, and they had a play, a skit. And the skit was Jesus is on one side and Satan is on the other side. And the people were in the center and being pulled in either direction towards Satan or towards Jesus. And I watched it and realized that that was me, that I was being pulled by God, and that Satan was trying to keep me in my sin. So I cried and cried and cried the whole sermon, and I gave my life to Jesus. And it wasn't something that happened overnight. I could look back and I could see where God was kind of working in my life. And it was amazing to look back and see, wow, he was doing things to show me he was real, different things. But anyway, I got saved, and my entire life changed. I moved out of the boyfriend's house, and the pastor of that church allowed me to rent a little 2-bedroom apartment from him, and started my new life over with my son, my firstborn. So that's kind of my salvation.
Did you move out? Did you move out of your boyfriend's house because you're feeling convicted?
Correct.
Okay.
The idea of living with a man that I wasn't married to, I knew it was wrong once I got saved. So yeah, I moved out because of that.
Very good. Well, a lot of people do that. That's you definitely admire that. It's good for you.
Yeah, thank you. God blessed it. I mean, from that day forward, I'm not going to say my life has been easy, but that day forward, God has been blessing me. And so we do have Mr. Scroll with us. Welcome aboard.
Yo, what's going on? Hey, Cyndi, how you doing?
Hey, Ninja, how are you? I'm good.
I'm doing all right. I'm just working right now, but I'm doing all right.
All right, no worries.
Hey, I sent you a couple text messages. This is going to be a good show, brother. You should sit back and be amazed.
Yeah, I know. So, I'm gonna try to be a part of it as much as I can. While I'm driving out here, but I'm sure it's gonna be a good show. I'm looking forward to hearing more from Cyndi.
Yeah, she's going through testimony right now, how she came to the Lord, and it's I like how you just mentioned how you had that visualization where they were doing that little skit, and a lot of times, I make a lot of pics. I hate to term them or me, whatever the heck they call it. I make a lot of pics, a lot of posters, Facebook posters, we'll call them, and I made some brutal ones about the war on terror, and you got to have that visualization to understand how dire something is. When you see a bunch of dead babies because of a drone attack, it really hits home quicker than me just talking to you about it. Words are one thing. Me and Ninja, we do music, so we try to paint pictures using sound and stuff like that. But sometimes you just need to have that blunt picture in your, or that blunt image or that skit in front of you for it to really sink in. And that's pretty neat how that happened. And, you're right then and there, you're starting to feel those convictions kicking in, weren't you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and my life's never been the same.
Renegade, I'm sorry, what, Renegade, you were saying how we use music to paint the picture. Our lyrics paint the picture, too, as well. When you listen to the lyrics, if you actually sit down and listen to them, rather than just go with the beat and the hook and all that stuff, you can visualize everything that we're saying, and it brings to life the song. It brings to life what we're saying.
Yes.
So, yeah,
absolutely.
That's a great way to do it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah, I agree.
And that's the thing, I'm not going to trail off on music. We can sit here and talk about music all night long. But so you ended up moving out of your boyfriend's house because his convictions were kicking in. And your pastor put you up with an apartment, which is awesome. Kudos to him.
Yeah.
That is great. So
go
ahead, continue on.
So I decided I was going to go to college. So I started college, and I needed some kind of income. So the guy I left, we had our own company at a racetrack called Willow Springs Raceway, right outside of Edwards Air Force Base. But when everything fell apart, we lost the business. We used to film the races. One of my girlfriends from the church that I went to said the Air Force Base is hiring janitors. And I know everybody says the janitor. I was not a janitor for more than 2 years. That just kick-started my career. So we went out there and we interviewed, and they hired me pretty much the next day. So suddenly I have access to the Air Force Base where I worked, and I went out there every day, and I went to school every day, and I raised my son, and I was saved. So I was just, loving Jesus, going to church, doing my thing, and never really thought much about it other than I hope someday I'm not a janitor. I hope someday God will bless me with something else. And I made a lot of friends during the 2 years that I did that. So 2 years of the college under my belt, and a bunch of my friends said, hey, the base paper shows they're hiring at NASA, so you need to apply. And it was the same. I was doing IT business stuff. It was the same line of work that I would be wanting to do. So I applied for a position, and the guy who was hiring for that whole group, there was a group of us they were hiring, contacted me. I interviewed with him, and he was very impressed. This was back in 1996. That was a while ago, and he hired me. So my first actual career job was with NASA as a contractor. I was directly working for NASA as a contractor at a NASA facility at Edwards Air Force Base, California, at Dryden Flight Research Center.
And Edwards is where they actually will bring the glorified jet known as a space shuttle in for a landing if it's too bad in Florida, correct?
Correct. Same place.
Yeah. And I was politically correct, listeners, by calling it a glorified jet, because that's all it is. It's a glorified jet.
Amen.
And they call it the space shuttle because, they got to, it's $1 million entertainment. It's a jet that's, costs billions, and every time they fly it, it's like, what, $1.4 billion or something crazy like that, $2 billion?
I have no idea, but they don't fly them anymore.
It's one heck of a marketing scheme, that's all I know.
Right.
So, and I'm sure you've seen it come in and land and do all that.
Oh, yeah. It was well, before I woke up to all this stuff, I was amazed by it. I mean, I'm still amazed by the jet. Don't get me wrong. I love the jet. The space stuff, not so much.
Yes, and there's pictures of you. The listeners are out there watching the screen. There's a picture of you actually in the cockpit of my favorite jet of all time, the SR-71, Blackbird.
Oh.
I've been amazed by that thing since I was a child. And there's also one of you standing on the wing. So, yeah, so you ended up getting in with NASA. And then how was that? How was working for NASA? What was that like every day? I mean,
it was
people,
pretty incredible.
I can just picture. I know what I kind of picture in my mind what it would be like working for NASA. But how was it really? Was it like a typical office job, or did you what did it entitle? Like when you went in and like what did you do like for NASA? Like
I never had a typical office job before that, so I didn't have much to compare it to. I was so beside myself that I was there. I was just, I was just blessed. I was like, I can't believe I'm not a janitor. I can't believe I have an actual real job.
By the way, at one point in time, I did some janitorial work as well, so I happen to like it, doing a lot of repairs and stuff like that. No big deal. Hey, everyone's got to start somewhere.
I had to support my son. So.
And I was just going to say that and let that be a lesson to everyone out there. Don't think you need to do this, you need to do that. When you got to make money, you make money, especially when you're supporting a child.
Amen. So it was. If I had to say it was spectacular, I would say it's more on the spectacular side, just because it's unique. It's a unique place to work. Everybody I worked with was wonderful. I'm still friends with most of the people that I did work with, although I don't think they follow me anymore. But they're just very cool, down-to-earth people. Everybody was kind to me. I never had an enemy there. It just really was blessed. And I was there for 4 years. 4 years. They paid for tons of training, hardware, software training, so that I could continue with my education. Yeah. They taught me so much in that 4 years, and it was really cool. It was really fun. I like working with computers, so it was unique. And there was, I don't know if you want to hear about this now or later. The thing
go
I
ahead.
overheard.
Absolutely. It's part of your testimony.
Yeah. Well, it's part of my second part of my testimony, but I'm going to say it was about 1998. My office was next to the photo lab, and two of the guys who worked in there had come out at the same time that I was leaving my office. I was walking behind them, and they said, "I can't believe people believe in the fake moon landing." And so just think for a minute, this is 1998 that I'm hearing this, and I was like, wow, this guy's crazy.
Say that one more time in case the listeners didn't quite catch that. Say that one more time.
These guys said, I can't believe people believe in the fake moon landing. That's what they said.
Fake moon landing. The fake moon landing. They can't believe it. Probably laughing and snickering about it.
They were laughing.
Wow.
I thought they were nuts. I just thought of, well, these guys are just crazy, and I didn't think much about it at all until much later. So I continued to work for them. The reason I'm pictured with the SR-71 is because one of the top guys in the photo lab, for my birthday 2 years in a row, would let me sit in the jet, and he took pictures of me. He was the photog. I was the girl in the office next door. It was my birthday, and so I asked him, can I get pictures with the jet? And that's why I have pictures of me with the SR-71.
I would have asked him, hey, can I just start this thing up once? Just like kind of hit some throttle.
I'm pretty sure that would have freaked me out.
That is pretty cool. I've never even seen one in person, and you got to actually sit in one. They're amazing jets.
Them. Yeah,
I know.
They retired them right after that.
Well, because I got a bigger and better thing that we don't know about. Most definitely.
Yeah. So that was fun. It was an awesome experience. What's that?
That's just funny that you work for NASA, yet these two guys are joking around about the moon landing, but yet NASA was behind it. That's their thing.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, it was. I mean, at the time, honestly, I didn't think much of it, but it definitely stuck in my mind as an odd thing to hear.
Right, I'm sure.
Right.
So as time went on there, oh yeah, go ahead, please, by all means.
Okay. So I worked for NASA until 2000, And then in 2000, I left my NASA position and worked for the Air Force Civil Service, which was at the same Air Force base. And I took a position as a secretary. It was not what I wanted, but it was more secure because I wasn't a contractor, and I became civil service, which is basically a government grunt person. I needed a secure job as a single mom. So I took it and then started my career in the admin secretary field, working for the United States Air Force, which is also really cool. And did that for 5 years. I was married for a little while and went to nursing school for a little while, which is not related to this at all. But so I left the Air Force for a period of time, and then I ended up not finishing nursing school and went on to work for Lockheed Martin. And there's a story that goes with this one as well. Went to work for the F-117 program in Palmdale, California. And
if
one of
anyone
my
doesn't know what
engineers,
the F-117 is, it is the stealth fighter.
correct.
Oh, I know my jets. I know my jets. I told you, I used to want to fly either the F-16 or the F-15.
Oh.
I had the grades. I had the reflexes. I had the eyesight. I was dead set on I wanted to go and fly fighter jet. I love speed. I'm a freak with it. And the SR-71, I was just like, man, if I could ever get some seat time in that would be awesome. So you got to work on the F-117 project. Now, was that before they rolled it out? So was that kind of top secret at the time? Or, because I forget when they actually released that to the public.
No. They released it probably 10 years before I started working there in 2006. I left the Air Force in 2005, started with Lockheed in 2006. And, 2005. Then 2006, I went to Lockheed. And then, so by the time I came on board, they had been flying it, especially in the Antelope Valley is where all this took place. It's about an hour north of Los Angeles, hour and a half north of Los Angeles. And they had been flying it up there in that desert for several years. We would see it. It would look like a big black Dorito. A lot of I'm going to use a term here, listeners. You can't attach fake aliens to it. UFOs, an unidentified flying object, is exactly what that was, because people weren't used to seeing a triangular-shaped plane or jet. Right.
But like the B-2 bomber. The B-2 is a big wing, you know?
And that one's even more unique looking.
Oh, yeah. That's crazy looking.
Up close and personal. It's crazy looking. Sometimes at angles you can't even see it. It's bizarre. But so
I'd say
for the F-117.
bizarre is very good. Bizarre is a perfect word for that thing. It is. So so you were now what did you do like with the F-117? See, I'm so intrigued now. This is going to be a long show. We're going to hour 3.
Or administrative assistant level 4 was my technical duty term or whatever. But we were on the flight line, so I was in I don't even know what you call those buildings. Not a real building. It's a building out on the flight line that's set up to cater to the jet. And so we had our maintenance guys, we had our engineers, we had our military people. It was just a huge mess of folks on the flight line who managed this program. And so our big guy, our top guy, civilian person, Lockheed, was my boss. And so I supported him and all of our crew. It was a lot of people. It was a lot of fun. Don't tell anybody, but one of our maintenance guys let me sit in the F-117. I wasn't allowed to do that.
Well, trust us, we're not going to say a word.
Okay, good. Thank you. And my friends, don't say anything, right?
Hey, Mom, guess what?
So I got to sit in it. I have some of the pull before flight flags from it. So very great experience. It was
hold on a second. I got to stop you again. I'm so intrigued here. We're talking about some of my favorite jets. What is it like sitting in the SR-71 compared to sitting in the F-117?
The
I'm
comfort
sure
level in the F-117 was terrible. It was very
really
difficult. Yeah. Very.
Well, yeah, you're looking at a fighter jet compared to a jet where you're.
Metal box.
Well, yeah, I think some of the flight times in the SR-71 were like 12-hour flights when they would actually refuel because they lose so much fuel on ground and in takeoff they'd have to refuel again because these things are set to go at 2,500 miles an hour. So at that speed, the friction would make that jet expand and it would seal up all the leaks. So you got some big, long hours in that seat. So I can see the seat being a lot more comfortable. Now, how about technology-wise, like the instrument gauges?
About what?
The instrument gauges and the technology. Like when you're sitting there in a seat and you're looking at, because you're looking at a jet that was made in the 60s.
And gadgets. I have no idea. It all looked so, I haven't ever been in a cockpit of a regular plane, so other than seeing it in a movie, I wouldn't have known the difference. But lots of knobs, lots of gadgets. It was difficult to get into the seat because the way you have to climb in, I just remember it being awkward the way that, because you have to push the ladder over to it I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that. So you can't step on certain things. And so it was awkward because I'm 5'4", so I'm this little person trying to climb into this. It was just awkward, but I just remember it was being very stiff.
I can only imagine me trying to climb in. I'm a little over 6 foot. You're like like trying to climb into a NASCAR. Like, where do you put your feet? How do you get into this thing? The door doesn't even open. What the heck? Is there a door on this thing? That is so cool.
But it was fun. I really liked it. It was a lot of fun. One time we did a chase. They let me get into the chase vehicle when they deployed the help me, what's it called? To slow down the jet, the F-117. They did the not umbrella. Help me. Yeah, the parachute. Thank you. I got to go with the guys in the truck to chase it. It was very cool.
So these things would come down, I guess, at a pretty rapid rate of speed into the runway, and it actually, just like the SR-71, would deploy a parachute. Actually, the SR-71 had 2 of them would pop out the back to slow it down. So that thing was a big jet.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Both of them are actually pretty big. Yeah.
Did you get any airtime, like any rides at all? And
no.
Either one of them?
No, I'm afraid to fly. No. No, thank you.
So now this is with Lockheed, and if I remember properly, these are the actual makers of the F-117 now, and the SR-71. They're also known as Skunk Works because their facility used to smell so bad, probably still does, from the chemicals that they were using to put on these jets, that the areas around there would actually, it would just smell.
And that's down in Burbank, California.
Okay. Yep,
yeah,
Skunk Works.
That was before they went to Palm Dale. Yeah.
So you were with NASA for 4 years, and then you jumped over to the U.S. Air Force Civil Service
5 years.
For 5.
Mm-hmm.
So that was 9 years, and then you were with Lockheed for.
Correct. For 2.
For 2.
Mhm. And I left Lockheed to work for Raytheon, which is just another government contractor, really.
Okay. And what do they do?
But I worked for some space support systems things, but I was really just I was a glorified administrative assistant. I was called an executive assistant. Boring. There were no jets. There was nothing. There was nothing fun going on. Just office work. And that didn't last long. I went for a very short period of time to a company called Bastian Technologies down in Canoga Park, and that was also a NASA contractor. They were supposedly building the new engine for the new space shuttles they were supposedly building. So it was a good job, it was also boring. There were no jets there, but
Yeah. See, if there's no jets, there's no fun. It's boring. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Well, how many contracting companies work for NASA? Do you happen to know?
Oh gosh, I do not know.
Because you just mentioned
that only
two.
lasted 8 months. Yeah, with the summit was
Okay.
at Edwards and Bastian Technologies was doing the new engine, but again, 8 months later, program. As far as I know, they just scrapped it. They scrapped the whole plan. I don't know because they just said you're out of a job. We're scrapping the program.
Oh wow.
So yeah, so I went back to the Air Force after that. I've been all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went back to Edwards Air Force Base, and I worked in the safety office, and then after a year of that, I worked on the F-35 program, which was another jet program, which I love. I love it.
And that was kind of a stealthy jet as well, if I remember properly.
Yes,
the
sir.
F-35.
That's the latest Air Force jet.
And the Raptor is the F-22, I believe, right?
Correct. And so this
Okay.
is basically the newest, their newest technology, some of the best stuff I've seen. I'm very impressed. They fly them over my house almost every day here from Luke Air Force Base.
Now, you worked in there. You were with the guys in the photo lab. Did you thinking back now, did you happen to see any pictures from, well, of course, the SR-71 being way up there? No, I've seen videos, and there's no curvature. I've seen videos from the SR-71 itself. It's a flat line all the way across the horizon. Did you happen to see pictures like that back in the day that, like, in the future, like, oh, my gosh, I remember seeing pictures like this?
I wouldn't have thought anything about it then. I saw lots of pictures because they let me go in. They gave me tours, let me go in and look at all their photographs, and it was just a really neat thing to be right next door to the photo lab. But it wasn't something I would have looked for. So, no, if I did,
right.
I don't recall noticing the curve. I wouldn't have thought of it.
Well, hold on. I got to ask you another question. Because this is funny to me. NASA has a photo lab. There's a lot of CGI work going on in there, evidently. Because when it comes to real pictures of the Earth, they have none. Zero, zip,
right.
zilch, nothing. No real pictures of the Earth. So what exactly were they taking pictures of? Just like just aerial shots or?
Yeah, aerial shots, the jet, the base. I mean, it was really just
like a PR program?
What's that?
Were they was there pictures more for like a PR program, like a promotional program, like, let's keep the people fed? Let's give them this picture this week. And
I don't think so. I mean, maybe part of it was because there is a lot of PR with NASA. I do remember that. We had a lot of tours. We had guided tours all the time. We had a shop that had NASA paraphernalia you could go and purchase. So, yeah, it was something where it was definitely a lot of PR, a lot of, hey, NASA's cool. And they have a lot of cool stuff,
right.
I'm not going to lie.
Oh, I'm sure the centrifuge. I'd like to, sit in that thing and see how many G-forces I could take.
No, thank you.
So go ahead and continue on with your testimony, because I want to, when you get to the end, all the big point here, I want to go back and talk about NASA.
Okay.
So
when I was at Lockheed on the F-117 program, one of my engineers, smart guy, super smart, he told me, this was in 2008, and I just, I was like, wow, why would you say that? Why would you think that? And in my head, I pictured
hold on,
everybody.
Stop it. Stop. Hit the brakes. We got to rewind. Okay. Can you say that one more time? Just say that whole thing one more time for the listeners so they understand.
Okay.
Lockheed Martin, they're a big deal. They make a lot. We have McDonnell Douglas. We have Lockheed Martin. They manufacture all like the fighter jets and the bombers and stuff like that, and top secret, Black Project, X projects, whatever. What did you hear at Lockheed again?
So one of my guys, my engineers that I worked closely with, this was on the flight line, he told me the Earth was flat. And
told you the Earth was flat.
Yes, he did.
How did
and
you
he was
take
very
that?
serious. I just didn't understand what he was saying. I just thought it was kind of crazy. I just didn't think much of it. Said that, and I think he gave me a brief explanation, and he probably felt some uncomfortableness because I wasn't really going with it. I was like, this doesn't make sense to me. I do remember feeling like he was crazy. You know, I can't believe this guy's saying that. Why would somebody so smart think that? That's what I thought. And so in my head, I was picturing the flat Earth that everybody pictures, is, you know, a flat disc floating in space tilted on its side with water coming off. And
it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous because that's not what it is. And I actually, if you were to ask me, the proper definition is geocentric. I use that term because it's more flattering to our cause. So I typically say geocentric because
that means stationary, not moving.
That the center of the center of God's creation.
Exactly.
Anyway, so I didn't really think much about it. I just kind of blew it off, and I really want to find that guy. I said this before. I'll say it again. Call me because he has my number. One of our mutual friends contacted him for me and gave him my phone number, but he hasn't contacted me, and I don't know if maybe he doesn't believe in it anymore. I don't know. All I know is he hasn't contacted me back, but I want to say sorry.
I got to crack a joke. Maybe you fell off the edge.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
But yeah, you want to say you're sorry. But you know what? It's not your fault. I mean, you were indoctrinated at the time. You
correct.
Were led to believe their theories, and that was it. We all went through it.
Right. We've all been indoctrinated.
So you heard him say that, and go ahead, continue on.
All right. So I just sort of let it go, and he never really said much more about it, and I went on with my career. Again, I left Lockheed after a couple of years, went on to Raytheon, went back to the Air Force, worked on the safety program, worked on, or in the safety office, and then worked on the F-35 program, where I really learned a lot. And this is where some of the reason why I woke up to the other things was because of the emergency management training that I had on the F-35 program. Just awesome. The Air Force paid for tons of training for me to learn and understand things that I really needed to learn and understand for true life situations, but I didn't know that then.
Right.
So I worked on the F-35 program, and then I left California. I left the Air Force, and I went to Fort Worth, Texas, and worked for Lockheed Martin in a boring office environment.
Because there was no jets.
No jets. It was awful. And I ended up laid off. So that was my last of my career in 2012. I haven't worked for the government since then, and I've just been being a mom.
Now, hold on, we get a time check real quick. We got about 10 minutes left in this first hour.
Okay.
I want you. I'm going to kind of. Ninja, you got any questions for her, by the way, brother? Ninja, scroll.
I'm here. I'm just listening. I don't have any. I'm just enjoying it right now, brother.
Okay, because I want her in the second hour to talk about what woke her up. And this is a thing I mentioned last week.
I'm gonna get more into it in the second hour, but right now I'm just soaking in the whole testimony. I like the parts where she was talking about how they said the fake moon landing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't know how I would have took that. I don't know how I would have took that either at that time. Right now I know, but and then when the guy said the Earth was flat, that had to be shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But you kind of just let it roll off of you because you're not sure yet. You don't know what to think.
Yeah, this was way before I woke up.
Yeah, and that was years. We're talking years and years later that you woke up.
I woke up to some things in 2009, so just a couple years after that. But the geocentric model, it's only been 12 months for me.
Well, from what I understand, NASA goes off of the geocentric model when they launch their whatever they launch, whatever they want to call it that day.
If you read their documents, it does say flat and stationary. It does.
Yep, and I have one. I have one of the documents.
You do, yeah, I do too.
That's funny that they go because they know we're not spinning at these ungodly rates of speed. And you know, real quick, people listen. Before you hear someone say flat Earth, instantly these pictures come to mind. Like Cyndi was saying, a disc floating through space, where people are falling off the edge. That's not it. That is not. You've got to research before you draw your conclusions. That these people are crazy. Because honestly, I look at people that believe in the ball theory, and I go, that's crazy. Because if you actually really look at those numbers, which a lot of people don't even know, it's impossible to know.
That's what gets me is how in the world can you call me crazy for thinking that the Earth is flat and then we're not on a round ball and there's no imaginary gravity holding me onto this thing and we're not spinning? You know, I'm the crazy one because I think we're just on a still planet or a still Earth or a flat Earth that's not moving at all, and you know, there's no gravity. It's just it's buoyancy. You know what I'm saying? And I'm the crazy one. You think that we're spinning 600 and so many thousand miles an hour, rotating around the sun, and at the same time, our whole galaxy is moving all over thousands of miles and billions of. Come on, who's the crazy one?
And
this is what gets me. How can we be the crazy one? You know, I mean, you have to be so indoctrinated. You have to be so indoctrinated to believe what they're saying to you. And I've done it all my life until like 3 years ago when I started researching the flat Earth, and I still never came out about it until recently. I never came out until I just texted AJ, about 4 months ago, Renegade, I started talking to you about it. You know what I mean?
You did.
But
that was funny.
I never really thought nothing about it. I was just like, whatever. I knew it was flat. I knew that, but it didn't. But now I'm just like, why didn't I say anything?
You know what?
What am I worried about? I'm not the crazy one.
You know, if you take
crazy.
those speeds,
you think there's people on the bottom of a ball standing upside down, looking right side up at the same time.
Yeah.
What do you think? You think there's people on the side of a ball standing, and they're looking at the same thing I'm looking at, but they're on the side of a ball. How can that be?
When you take a trip from the North Pole on the ball, believe it or not, people, as you cruise down to the equator, just say you're going somewhere down south, you know, somewhere in like the tropics, believe it or not, when you're sitting in port and God's looking at the globe, you're sideways. You're sideways. Get out of here. It's just silly. That's just silly.
It's kind of like
we're crazy though.
Yeah.
How is water curved?
If you're
born, does water curve? When have you ever seen water curve anywhere? Water doesn't curve.
Yeah.
In my science book.
Right.
It's all in my science book, man.
If you look at the reason why this indoctrination works, it's because if you put yourself in a position, so say you're born in a barn, and it's you and your mom, and your mom says, this is the entire earth. This is it. This interior of this barn and these walls and this roof. And you spend birth to 15 living inside this barn, believing that your mom, who loves you, is telling you the truth. This is everything. This is the whole earth.
Yep.
And otherwise, unless you had a reason to. And if you started to see something like a crack in the wall or light from underneath might, like, what's that light from? What's that, what's that out there? You wouldn't think that person lied to you. You trust them, right? Because that's your parent, that's your mom. So you don't question it. And to believe that there's something on the other side of those walls would freak out your brain. Your whole, everything that you ever knew would be a lie, and suddenly you'd have to rearrange your brain, which is what happens. When you start to believe in a geocentric model, it messes up your head because you've got to go from what you've been indoctrinated into your entire life, and all of us have been, to something that's so foreign, so odd, and laughed at, you suddenly, it's mind-blowing. It blew my mind.
You know what?
I'm not going to lie.
What you're saying makes so much sense, because I used to tell my kids all the time. I would say, you know, I would ask them what the day was. They would say it's Monday, and I would say, well, you know what? If you, when you were born, I could have been telling you all the time that Monday was Saturday, and you would go to school and the kids would say it's Monday, and you would say no, it's Saturday, because I told you that Monday was Saturday.
Right.
So it all comes down to what we teach them and what we're taught. So the indoctrination starts from way back when they, you know, we were spoon fed, and then we spoon feed our kids, and they spoon feed their kids, and it goes right on down. And everybody trusts everybody without looking into anything. I mean, it goes way back. Like with Christmas, me and my mom argue every Christmas, and she still, you know, celebrates it. I'm telling her it's not Jesus' birthday. It's a pagan holiday. It's all this stuff. You know what I mean? And we go back and forth. I can show in the Bible hundreds of things of how hundreds of ways how it's not Jesus' birthday and how it's not to be celebrated. But for the cognitive dissonance is what gets us. We have that belief system. We believe what that person told us. So now I have to break this belief system. People, it's too much to do that. It's just too much to handle. So they don't do it. They know you're wrong. You're wrong. That's how they do it. You're wrong. They mock you. They ridicule you. They make fun of you. And it's just, you're wrong. But without even looking, they just say you're wrong.
And that goes for multiple things. That goes for vaccines. That goes for GMOs.
Yes.
That goes for 9/11.
That goes for the whole
government.
Antichrist system. That's what his whole Antichrist system. It's for the whole thing. You can't tell anybody anything without them. They're going to ridicule you, and they're just going to laugh. Look at when the president, when somebody asks the president a question about FEMA camps or something like that, all they can do is make jokes on them. They make. Oh, you talking about the naked man praying in the woods? You were there yesterday. They do stuff like that. All they do is make jokes. They can't refute it. They can't rebut it. They can't. And then the same thing happens with us when we tell people. What happened with what the Bible say about Noah? As in the days of Noah, so shall it be when the Son of Man comes. So when we're here, when back in Noah's day, Noah was being laughed at when he was telling people it was going to rain, that water was going to come from the sky because it never came from the sky before. So they laughed at Noah and they scoffed at him when he was trying to tell them.
When that rain came, they were pounding
on that. And that's how it's going to be now. It's going to be the same way now. People are going to laugh at us and mock us. Oh, you guys in the New World Order stuff and the government stuff and all these Illuminati and conspiracy theories and all this stuff. Wait till the black helicopters land on their grass and start pulling people out of the houses.
Right.
Who's going to be laughing then?
We are at the top of the hour, so let's take a quick break, play some ads. And Ninja, by the way, I ran into somebody. It's because this past Saturday, I was at the March Against Monsanto down in Philly, and I ran into one of your buddies, man, someone you know pretty good. And they told me that they caught you cruising down the street banging this song. They said you were banging this song loud, too.
Oh, tiptoe through the window, by the window, that's where I'll become tiptoe through.
You got that from what's that horror movie? It's some horror movie that plays that song. Isn't it?
Yeah, you're thinking of Insidious. Insidious.
Yeah.
No, that's actually Tiny Tim. That's actually Tiny Tim from back Johnny Carson's show. That's going back. Insidious got it from Tiny Tim, or I don't know where you got it from, but yeah, they said you was banging that. I said no, you got the wrong guy.
Yeah, that was me. Yeah, I was banging that.
You got the wrong guy. Boy, let's do this. And by the way, I told Cyndi, I was like, I got a good song to mess with Ninja. There it was.
I like it. That was really good.
I'm gonna be singing that all night now, man. I might be singing that all night now, man.
Hold on. I'm gonna challenge you. I want to hear you sing it that high.
Oh wow. That's really
I'm
good.
Ninja Scroll, man. I'm Ninja Scroll.
Man of many
Wow.
Oh boy, that was awesome. That dude sitting there playing like a little. You were there. If you want to sing along, I'll play it again. Hold on. I'm just kidding.
Oh, gosh.
Let's take a quick
man.
break. We're just goofing around here. That's what we like to do sometimes. Hey, Cyndi, real quick, just mute up your phone. And
Do what?
Go ahead and mute your phone. I don't want to do the whole studio mute thing. Go ahead and mute your phone. We're going to quick take a break, and we'll be back in about 5, 6, 7 minutes. We'll play a few ads and rock a song, and we'll be right back with a new element. And back to the Flat Earth Testimonies Part 3.
I'll be right here.
Hello everyone, my name is Suzanne Marr and I'm founder of Bye Bye Blue Sky, and we have a passion for the planet. Bye Bye Blue Sky is a dedicated global public environmental movement who seeks to be a voice for all living creatures and ecosystems, and to protect human health and safeguard the natural environment, air, water, and land which our sustenance depends. We use education, peaceful protest, and creative communication to expose one of the world's largest and most significant ecological threats and preeminent disasters, commonly known as climate engineering or chemtrails. Please visit our website, byebyebluesky.com, and learn the truth about the sinister aerosol spraying. There are many media articles, patents, government white papers, which are available on our site, which attest to these programs. We also have awareness items, bumper stickers, t-shirts, which can be purchased, and brochures and business cards, which can be downloaded and distributed. There are a number of ongoing Bye Bye Blue Sky GoFundMe billboard campaigns in North America, the links available on our website. I encourage everyone to donate to these billboards. A few dollars can save the planet. Please also join Bye Bye Blue Sky on our Facebook page of the same name and meet dedicated and like minds. Thank you.
Tune in Tuesday night for Our Reality with your host, Eva. 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific. Right here on Infinite Source Broadcast Network.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again. But going to Mars should be one of the next series of steps that humans do. The first step should be going back to the moon for a number of technical reasons and exploration reasons, and then after that, Mars. You blew it!
Now loading. The new element. The new element. Now loading. What it has to do with is a New World Order agenda. The new element.
The elite have a Luciferian religion. They believe Lucifer is God.
My government's never lied to me, have they? Let's see, where should we start?
The secret organizations of the world power elite are no longer secret. They have planned and are now leading us into a one-world communist government.
So what you gonna do about that? The new element, Thursday night on Infinite Source Broadcast Network.
The new element.
doesn't lie. Who's this person that I see I do not recognize? I've came so far, but I've drifted off course. I don't even know who I am anymore. Dear God, right now I need your help. Can you light the way so I can find myself? I'm not afraid to face this world on my own. It gets cold out there when you're all alone. When you're all alone. So you think you're in a fight? One with you cannot win. A champion swells inside. It's been buried down deep within. You were born for this fight. Break the chains that bind. Through your feet, get off of those knees. Time to rise. Break the chains that bind. Sometimes you have to crawl through the fire just to make it alive. Break the chains that bind. Opened up my eyes, I could finally see all the damage that's been done to me. I'm better than this, and I'm better than you. I've risen up from the dirt. What is your excuse? What is your excuse? You're a born loser. That's all you'll ever be. The scum of the earth. Now get away from me. I will never be brought down ever again. My moment of weakness has come to an end. So you think you're in a fight? One with you cannot win. A champion dwells inside. It's been buried down deep within. We were born for this fight. Break the chains that bind. To your feet, get off of those knees. Time to rise. Break the chains that bind. Sometimes you have to crawl through the fire just to make it out alive. Break the chains that bind.
What happened to you and how did you overcome what you've been through? The line that I like to use is changing obstacles into opportunities.
Keep driving. Keep your knees off the ground. Keep driving. Your very best. Keep going. Don't quit on me. Keep going. Don't quit till you got nothing left.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Break the chains that bind. Get out all that.
All right, man. All right. Yo, you was tearing that one down, man. You tore that down right there. I thought I was watching the WWE or something for a minute. I started having flashbacks of somebody coming down to the ring to wrestle. You know what I mean? You tore that down, brother.
Thank you. That was Break the Chains of Bind by me. Thank you. And we are back, the new element with Renegade Smith and Ninja Scroll and our special guest, Cyndi.
Yeah.
And we are not tiptoeing through the tulips because we don't tiptoe through anything. We just walk and kick things. Get out of our way. We got truth exposed.
Amen.
All right, so we are here the second hour. Everyone, welcome back. Infinite Source Broadcast Network. And I can't wait for the second hour because guess what we get to hear? We get to hear how you woke up, and I cannot wait to hear that. And that's the thing I mentioned last week with Robbie Davidson. You know, I can't stand the term, oh, you flat earth, that's a psyop, man. That's you guys, it's a CIA psyop. You're totally falling for it. What? Hold on a minute. Let me recall the past. Everyone knew the Earth was flat up until 500 freaking years ago, but now all of a sudden it's a psyop. No, the psyop is a spinning thing with fake pictures. Oh, and it drives me nuts because what people don't understand is we're all awake here. You know, everybody that I know that knows the truth of the Earth, they also know the truth of 9/11. They also know what the Bohemian Grove is. They know about vaccines. They know about GMOs or eating organic. They know about the music industry. Yeah. Did I leave anything out? I mean, we're awake. We know what a psyop is. We know what a false flag attack is. We just had one over in Manchester. Come on.
Correct.
We can smell a psyop from a mile away. Evidently, you still have more researching to do. Oh, then this one really gets me twisted. Oh, I'm fully
me too,
awake.
But I don't get mad. I get it. Some people are just not ready for it.
Well, this is another one, too. Because I remember one point in time when you mentioned the name of Jesus, people would freak out. But you mentioned Flat Earth now, oh, my gosh. Oh, I love Jesus. Flat Earth, I'm going to block you. I want nothing to do with you. Oh, gosh. But, you know, you have people out there, oh, I'm awake. I'm fully awake. I know about the Bilderberg Group. Okay, cool. I know about the Illuminati. Oh, so you read the Bible and all? You know about Jesus Christ? Oh, no, that's just a story in the Bible. I saw this thing on David Icke's page. Okay, yeah, you got it all figured out.
Man wrote the Bible.
Man wrote that.
Right.
Yeah, of course. The inspired word of God.
Man wrote the science book.
Exactly. Hello. Oh, man. Oh, I thought I had that in here. I was at the phone ringing, and the guy answers. He's like, hello? And the guy goes, yeah, hello. Like, wake up. So anyway, let's get back into this. Now, we had your testimony, thus far your career, you giving your life to Jesus, letting him take over, and your career path with NASA and all.
Let me just say real quick how impressed I am of what you did in your lifetime. I mean, I'm very impressed. Yeah. I was listening the whole time, man. How you went from being a janitor. I was one of those too. I heard Renegade say I didn't want to jump in on that, but yeah, I did that too. We all did stuff, starting out to get where we're at now. But I'm very impressed at how you went and you had the determination to continue on and keep going and keep going, and ended up working at NASA and all those government agencies. I'm very impressed.
Right. Thank you. That's how we start. I mean, that's how it used to be. I don't know. Some people have a silver spoon and they just go to college and have the most glorious job ever after 4 years of college. It didn't happen that way for me. So, but I worked my butt off, and nobody knew me. I didn't have like an uncle in the business. I just did it, or actually God did it. But all the glory goes to God. But I do. I have determination. I still have determination. Just my personality. Thank you.
So what woke you up? Like, what led you to truth? Like, what was it? 9/11? Because I know a lot of people that got woken up by 9/11. I know the government does an awesome job, but before you go out there, hold on a minute. We got to do this. Little suspense accent right there. Okay, we're going with it. Let's go. Get ready for it.
It was 9/11, but I did not, because I was working for the Air Force when that happened. I was convinced of it, and I was very upset when 9/11 happened. I was one of those people who was for the war at the time. I had no idea what was going on. what woke me up, and this is going to blow your mind a little bit, in 2009, my oldest son was 18, and he says, and I was working for the Air Force at that time, he says to me, Mom, everything that you think is true isn't true. I'm like, what does that mean? It's just stuff. And I didn't know what he meant, but my son is one of the most trustworthy people ever. I raised him right. He was 3 when I got saved, so he's been raised properly, and he's a good guy. He's really smart. And so if he tells me something, I'm going to look into it. And so at that moment, we had
what was he
Haiti.
Where was he leaning? Where was he leaning at in that conversation? Like,
he didn't tell me. He wanted me to look. He wanted me to search because he didn't want to lead me in a certain direction. So he said, just start looking at stuff. Well, we had the Haiti earthquake, and I read an article about Hugo Chavez suggesting that the United States had an earthquake weapon. And I was like, wow, that guy's crazy. And I was like, wait a minute. I need to follow through, okay, because he knew I had already been looking into end time stuff because as a Christian, I've always been into end times, eschatology, the book of Revelation.
Prophecy.
I had always been studying that stuff, correct, prophecy. But I never looked at it from the view of a truther, a awake person. So I looked down a rabbit hole. I went to the source. Hugo Chavez says the United States has an earthquake weapon. Okay, why would he say that? Because he's only going to look like a crazy person. And that's not his goal. It can't be. He's a dictator. A thing called HAARP. All right, HAARP, HAARP. This isn't made up stuff. This is actually something that the United States government has. And I'm pretty sure other governments have it as well. They can manipulate weather. They can create earthquakes. There's a lot of technology in there. Now, I don't know how absolutely true this is. I'm just basing this off of my own research. I believe that HAARP is capable of creating large earthquakes, and that some of the earthquakes that we've had over the years may have been produced by those. But anyway, so I started looking into HAARP, and HAARP led me to chemtrails. Chemtrails are the white lines in the sky that we see almost daily all over the flat Earth, and you can't escape it. There's really nowhere to go to escape the poison. Chemtrails led me to a documentary about the fake moon landings. Oh, wow. Right. Remember when you were at NASA, Cyndi, and you heard those people believe in fake moon landings?
Right,
and I went, oh, my gosh.
Right.
I watched that documentary, and I was dumbfounded by the ridiculousness of the stuff they were showing us as a shot. It was fake. I knew it was fake because I'm a smart person. I looked at it, and I could see this is fake. This isn't real. So I told my son, I said the moon landings were fake. And he said he knew. He already knew all this stuff. He didn't tell me any of it.
Wow.
I guess he didn't want me to think he was crazy, but he already knew. And I said, when I worked for NASA, a couple of the guys that worked at the photo lab said they couldn't believe people believed in the fake moon landings. And he wasn't surprised by that. So HAARP, chemtrails, 9/11 inside job, fake moon landings. I think that was kind of my top big ones at that time. And I was just engulfed in it. I couldn't stop. And then I realized that our government was evil, and I was like, oh, wow, I work for them.
Yeah.
I work for these guys.
Right.
Right. So that was a little weird for me.
I'm sure.
Then Denver, Colorado shows up on the radar. I'm like, oh, wow, the airport.
Yes.
Yeah, that was crazy. All
and
these
that's real.
things started to show up. It is real.
It is so real. I'm just saying, like, it's so real. Like, the pictures that they're putting there, like, the one really, it's the New World Order. I mean, hello? Guy with the gas mask on, with a sword, killing going after the dove or something. I was just like, what? That airport is weird. And then they had that.
I picked up a guy that went there. one of my riders. I picked him up, and he was talking to me about it. I was asking him all that, what he saw on there, about the pictures, the murals. He saw all that stuff. Said it was weird.
Oh, wow. Yeah. It is weird. That's not something I would put in my airport.
No,
bizarre.
not at all. Because it's disturbing looking. It really is disturbing looking.
So as the time went on, so from 2009 when that happened until last year, I started to investigate everything. I got laid off from Lockheed. I'm suddenly a stay-at-home mom. And at the time, my children were in school. They're homeschooled now, but they were in school. So I had time to go work out. I had time to research, and so I did. I researched everything that I could find. Vaccines, GMOs. I got into healthy foods about 5 years ago. I started organic juicing, changed my life. I look younger now than I did 10 years ago, 5 years ago. I look younger now because
isn't that funny how that works?
My diet. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
It was
exactly
just a diet change. But if people knew, there's fluoride in the water. There's not just fluoride in the water. There's so many poisons in our water. When I was a kid, if you got something in your eye, you would flush it with water. And now if you flush with water, you'll burn your eyes. That's how bad our water is.
And that's in my opinion, that's a form of terrorism, because we need water to live. It's God's gift.
Yeah.
I mean, water's above, below. I mean, water plays a huge part in the existence of humanity. So let me ask you: once you woke up to all these things, and if you were like everybody else, myself and Ninja, you were out there spreading the word. Yeah, as we say, speaking truth.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure you started doing that. And in the nicest way possible, because you're just too nice. I don't see you being like me or Ninja. Like, what? You don't believe? What, are you crazy? No, I can see you just being so nice about it. But I'm sure you did. How were you received by people, especially family members?
They
because
ignored
there's a lot of people that have been
it.
alienated.
I would post stuff on my Facebook, and people ignored it. Nobody responded for years. And I just kept sharing it, and nobody responded. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stop. And I stopped. For a period of time, I just quit because I decided nobody cares. If they want to be poisoned, let them be poisoned, I guess.
Right.
So, no, it wasn't received well. I think the only people who received it well was my son, who was already awake, or anybody else who was already awake.
Now, did they ever question you on some of the things that you posted? Because believe it or not, and I've heard so many people say this. No, I didn't get any likes on it. Trust me, people saw it. They didn't want to put themselves out there and either like it or comment on it. And sometimes they get a little oomph under them. They might comment and go, "Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist," because they don't understand that term. Don't understand it. So, but trust me, they were looking, and I know this for a fact. If I had people come up to me years later and go, "Hey, I want to apologize to you for this," or "Hey, thank you for what you posted. You remember what you did the other year and blah blah blah." That woke me up. Like I took that and I didn't comment on it or like it, but I really started research and I'm awake now. So I've had people approach me about that.
I haven't.
So
only my truther friends. I have had a friend, my girlfriend, my best friend that I grew up with. She said, "Why are you doing this? Just stop." And I said, "I can't." And she admitted to me that she would rather bury her head in the sand and not know and just be a mom and live her life. And I understand what she's saying. I get that. But that's not me. That's not my personality. I don't want to bury my head in the sand. I want the truth. I'm a truther. It's me. And so that's a lot of people. That's most people bury their head in the sand, close their eyes, la, 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 it's not happening. As long as it's not happening. Now let me ask you, if you were in a house on a hill and there was a fire headed towards your house, would you want me to come and tell you, or would you want to finish your dinner with your kids and die from the fire?
And bury your head in the sand. I don't see it coming. I don't want to see it coming. I'm just going to bury my head in the sand.
Right. To me, I think humans need to help humans understand when there's danger. And I'm not like, the sky is falling. I'm not a sky is falling person. But I do think people need to be aware. And if we're aware, then maybe I'm not saying we can change it because we've read the end of the Bible and we know how this is going to end. So we already know what the ending. Jesus wins ultimately, but we know things bad are going to happen, right? But I still think we're supposed to warn people. I still think there's a reason why I know what I know. Unless,
we're all the same.
Unless they want to put me in prison, I might stop then, but I hope it doesn't come to that.
Like Vin just said, you have the black helicopters coming down.
Right.
I mean, but truth is truth. And I got to think too, which I'm recently gotten a big kick with because of Michael Connolly and Jimmy Gray discussing what is truth. Well, truth is something you can back it with facts. People can say, well, yeah, I know that's true. Okay, well, so it's true. Did they prove it to you, or did they just say it?
Right.
Truth is, it comes down to backing by facts. So, once you started, waking up to all this stuff, you got to get to the big point.
Yeah.
the one that was, in my opinion, the absolute hardest to swallow. It was hard enough thinking, hey, all right, our own government attacked us? Yeah, on 9/11. But then once you start researching 9/11, you start realizing there's things called, Waco, Gulf of Tonkin, all these other things that happened throughout history where our own government attacked us for an evil agenda. Then it comes down to fluoride. Well, you mean my dentist really doesn't care about my dental health? They just want my money? Yeah, pretty much. Right. And they've been brainwashed, by the way. So now they're going to brainwash you. Right. And same with vaccines and your doctor or your pediatrician. Yeah, you love my child so much. You want to pump them with
CDC.gov. If you go to CDC.gov and you look at the ingredients that are inside of your vaccine, you will not do it again. You will not.
Ever again.
If you look at the ingredients in the flu shot, you will look at the ingredients and you will be dumbfounded at the chemicals that they want to put inside of a human body that say that this is going to help you. And there's no proven fact that they actually help. There's nothing to prove it other than they said so.
Exactly. Because you can't prove that a poison is good for you. You can't prove it.
Right.
You cannot.
God
it's impossible to prove.
To heal itself. God made our human bodies just fine. If it wasn't for the toxic environment that we live in, we would be fine.
Yes.
I'm sure we would still die, but we would be healthier than we are. We're sicker now than we have been. I'm not sure if we've ever been this sick. I have more friends dying from cancer right now than I could imagine.
Oh, and amongst other things with children. I mean, and this is something, matter of fact, this is going to be a future show. We might even do it next week. We might take a step aside from the Flat Earth Testimonies. I've been wanting to do a show titled Levels of Attack because we are being attacked on so many levels. Not only mentally, we're being attacked physically and spiritually. I mean, we are getting hammered. So, besides all that, go ahead and get back into your testimony. As you started doing your research, and thanks to your son, by the way, give him a big high five for me.
Yeah, I will.
But as time went on, what led you to the point in your life where you are at right now, especially with your keeping your career in mind? Like that, this had to be the hardest spoonful of sugar to ever swallow.
Right. So because I was already awake as a truther, it was a little bit easier to swallow, but prayed. Okay, so I have this thing where I am addicted to information. I can't help it. I have this brain where I can't get enough information, and I don't mean junk. I mean facts. I mean history. I mean real stuff. And so I crave it. And so I had prayed for God to give me wisdom. And it was either 2 or 3 days later, 12 months ago, by the way. I mean, almost to the day, 12 months ago, 1 year is where I am right now. I prayed for wisdom, and I'm doing my thing, looking on the internet for conspiracies, research, all this stuff. And on the sidebar, I see a video that says I hesitated, and I thought, really? 75 biblical proofs of flat earth. Okay, I'm going to look at it. Only because it was biblical. Had nothing to do with anything but if it's in the Bible, I want to know. So I watched it, and I got to tell you, I stopped it at every verse. I went to my Bible, and I verified the verses. I read it. I read it in context. It took me a while to watch that video. I was like, wow, I never looked at the Bible that way before. I never even considered these verses reading this way. I looked at them from the way I was taught, which at all, it was heliocentric, which was something that we've all been indoctrinated into. So I took that one video, and I kind of went a little bit numb. Not numb, but just, it was bizarre to read that and to think that maybe I missed something. And for about 3 weeks, I started to research nonstop. And I didn't tell anybody. I didn't know what to say. I didn't tell my son. I didn't tell anybody. I just kept it to myself, and I just researched. After 3 weeks, I was in a daze. I was in my normal thinking pattern, and I was like, what happened? Where am I? What is this? I don't understand. What just happened to me? Because I went from a conspiracy researcher to now suddenly my entire world has changed, and I don't know how to process it. And I didn't have anybody to talk to. So I didn't know this was a building in the media. I didn't know this was something that was on YouTube, Facebook. I didn't know this was huge. And so I started looking at Facebook. I was like, I got to find somebody who's done this. One of my flat earth friends, Julie, love you, Julie. I don't think she's listening, but if she is, I love you. And there was an old feed from like the year prior, and they had a flat earth group meetup. And I just sent her a message because I said, look, I know it's going to sound crazy, but I just found this, and I don't know what to do, and I need to talk to somebody because I don't have anyone to talk to. And she hooked me up with all the groups and different people. And so then I started to find different people, and I would message them, and I'd ask them questions, and I think they thought I was crazy or a troll or something. They wouldn't answer me. I was like, I'm serious. And, of course, if you look at my Facebook page, it says I'm part of NASA, so they probably thought I was a shill or a troll.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Well, I didn't even think of it then. I wasn't thinking. I just didn't even think about it. But anyway, so that led me to Charles. Charles is one of my buddies. He's awesome. He was one of my first flat earth friends. He and a group of guys that I divulged my career to. And she's like, how do I know you're really NASA? I'm like, why would I lie about that? We're calling them liars. That's dumb. Anyway, it was honestly about 3 months of really, really difficult processing for me. The red pill was huge because I come from the Air Force. I come from NASA. I come from this thing that I love, and I embraced it with my whole heart. And so for me, it was very difficult to accept this truth. But
I'm sure you could hear that guy from Lockheed Martin ringing in the back of your head. Hey, did you know that the Earth is flat?
I went, oh my gosh.
He was
right. He told me it was flat. He told me it was flat, and I didn't believe him. And then I had all this guilt. So I contacted some of my old coworkers. I'm like, hey, can you get in touch with this guy? Anyway, and of course, I remembered the fake moon landing things again because, number one, I didn't believe in the moon landings when I found this. But number two, now I get why they were fake because you can't land on the moon.
No, you cannot land on the moon. It's translucent.
That's a light.
It's a light.
It's
a light. That's all it is. God's light.
It doesn't say anything about planets. There's no
nothing.
There's no mention of planets. It's stars, sun, moon, in the firmament.
Heavenly bodies.
In heaven.
Heavenly bodies.
Right.
And then when the coolest thing, this is, listeners, I just said it earlier, like, don't instantly draw, the line in the sand and say, oh, these people are crazy. No, you need to research it because it's not a disc. Water's not falling off the edges. It's all contained. It's a contained environment. It's a system. It's a contained system. Right.
Correct.
And when you read the verse about the waters above, like I was saying, you look at stars, it looks like they're in a swimming pool.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Don't believe.
The P900 has proven us to be factual. Yeah.
And even looking at Venus,
camera that can zoom. It's amazing what it can see.
Even looking at Venus, even looking at Mars, they don't look like planets. What NASA does is they put these pictures of planets out. They're CGI. They're fake.
Right.
But when you really look at these things for what they are, and you can find videos on these, it literally looks like a star because that's what they are. Like you said, the Bible does not mention planets. It talks about heavenly bodies or stars.
Right.
And Daryl Marvel did an awesome job in his one video where he talked about why I believe in a firmament, a dome, a contained system. And he went and talked about what's called a star in a jar and how they are able to create light. It looks like a star in water using frequency. And he matched that frequency to God speaking existence.
I'll tell you what I did.
Existence.
I was in my gym. This was right after I started, 2 months into it. I'm watching a video from Jaron. I'm watching a video from Jaron on my TV in my gym. The sunlight is coming through my blinds. It's hitting my water bottle, and then it's arcing up to my ceiling. And I was doing my abs, and I'm on my back, and I'm looking up, and I see this thing on my ceiling that looks exactly like the stars that we see from the P900, the glowy, watery light source.
Right.
I was like, it has to be water. It has to be a light source, maybe from heaven. It shines through water. It makes these lights that look like what we see.
It's just like with the sun. When the sun hits water, it turns it blue. Why is the sky blue? It's and another thing too. If the sun was as big as NASA claims it is, 93 million miles away, why isn't that sun lighting up all of space?
Right.
It's not.
There's no light in space, and there's no space.
Well, but it's a vacuum. Well, prove it's a vacuum. No one's gone to space, so your argument that it's a vacuum is null and void. It's done. I'm keeping you right here. I'm keeping your argument right here on the ground where my feet are and your feet are. Don't even try to go to space. Don't tell me that gravity exists.
This one's for Soul. Hey, Soul, how does a flea prove gravity? This is something I used in a meme.
Good point.
So, if gravity can hold oceans down onto this earth, but a tiny little flea can jump off of this earth, and it's a tiny little insect, how does that insect get through the pull of gravity? How is it that we're not laying flat on our faces from gravity?
Right.
And trees grow up, but the ocean stays down? Too many questions. Butterflies.
It's a stupid theory to justify lies. Is exactly what it is. It's a theory to justify their lies.
It's
and
density.
Once people really pick it up,
the density.
And what it comes down to is, like you were saying earlier about the barn, and that, when you're told something, just don't take it, as is. Just go research it and really think about it. They tell you, oh, this is all possible because something called gravity. No, that's impossible. Like you just mentioned, the flea jumping, but yet it can hold the oceans down on the bottom of the ball. I mean, really think about that. It's craziness, and it's their one of their other biggest lies. Gravity explains it all because gravity.
The evolution lie, the Big Bang, and if you want to get rid of God, you're going to use the Big Bang, evolution. We came from monkeys, a spinning ball in space. The sun is a bazillion miles away. We're moving at a bazillion miles an hour. I mean, all of it's just crazy. And if you try to crunch the numbers, because I've been spending 12 months trying to figure out, are there any facts? It's 8 inches squared per mile, or 8 inches mile squared, whatever it is.
8 inches per mile. The Earth is supposed to curve downward 8 inches.
Right. So we have
and I heard
so
recently
many people who can who can show you that is not, there's no curve. If you go stand at a beach and you look straight out, your perception is changed because of the way that the ocean, whatever it is, the atmosphere changes.
Well, and your eyes can only see so far.
Correct. If you look to the left or to the right, you can see mountains that are 30, 40, 50 miles away, right? How is that possible if you can look to the left or to the right and still see no curvature, but you can't see whatever it is they claim you can't see in the ocean?
The perfect example of if there was curvature, you would literally see the underbelly of the jet flush with your face because it's going around the curvature. You would literally be looking under the underbelly of the jet. It would be literally straight in front of you. That's not the case. If you're at the ocean and you're zooming in on these jets going out over the ocean, they literally just keep going straight, keep going straight, keep going straight, and then they just disappear. And you can have that P900 Nikon camera and zoom in as far as that camera can go, and that plane is just going to go out of sight. It's never going to go under or dip below a curve. The curve is non-existent. But these things escape people's minds. It's like it's the obvious. Stop letting it escape you.
Right.
You know, it's just the one for me.
I've been sharing this for a long time. I finally came out of hiding and I started to share this with my own Facebook people. I think most of them have unfollowed me now. So that's been difficult for me. I have to.
Well, I don't understand that.
I don't either. I don't know if they're unfollowed me or if they just won't look at my stuff or maybe they're taking a Facebook break. But the only people who comment on my stuff are my truther friends. Most of my family and friends that are just regular family and friends will not chime in. So I don't know. I just want people to look. I just at least entertain this idea for a minute. And if you do, try to debunk it. How about if you just try to debunk it? And then if you do, everybody who's tried to debunk it became a flat earther.
And exactly. And I heard something so amazing. And I said this the other week. Someone posted a picture of a Bible. And they straight up said, I was an atheist. This is the first Bible I've ever bought. And the reason why I bought this Bible was because of flat earth. Because once I started looking into the earth as a plane of existence, I started realizing, hold on a minute, there's got to be a creator here. Because we're just not by some quinky dink. Everything just got created perfectly, and all of a sudden this rock's in motion, and everything just worked out perfectly. We're not getting flung off of it. You take a ball, dip in the water, and you fling it. The water flies off. Matter of fact, a lot of times the water will draw to the middle, then fling off.
Right. Yeah.
And I love.
There's, you look outside. Just look outside your window right now. Does it look like we're spinning? I mean, there's nothing.
Calm here besides the rain.
We can detect earthquakes at like 0.1 or something, some teeny tiny little minuscule movement, but there's no detection of any movement other than earthquakes.
Their excuse, it's relative. We're relative. That is the goofiest thing I've ever heard. Some stupid theory that Albert Einstein came up with can't be proven.
Right. High-rise buildings that are super, super tall. There's no weird vibration going on from this crazy spinning and going.
Nothing. No, we're all calm. Calm on planet Earth.
Please. It's bizarre.
Space. What was that, Ninja?
I was going to say, did you ever read the theory of relativity? Did you ever read the definition of that? It's so funny. It makes no sense.
None.
It's just a bunch of words. You just talking like
history. They basically told that guy to make up that theory. He was one of the used people in this whole ball lie. If you go back and you look into Einstein, he's not what we think.
No, not at all. They glorified him, just like Darwin. A bunch of people glorified Darwin.
Right. Exactly.
I want to touch on something that Cyndi was saying too about the Big Bang and all the different theories that they come up with, evolution and all that stuff. first of all, they're all theories. You know, we're taught a theory in school, and we're taught that theory is fact. But then we're taught that theories are not fact at the same time. So that's
ain't that funny?
Yeah, but just that for me, that just shows me that the grand deception that is talked about in the Bible is that the earth is round. That's the biggest deception. Because in order for all these other things to fall in place, the earth has to be round. It can't be made flat. It has to be round.
This alien agenda. Every Hollywood movie that comes out has some kind of weird alien agenda tacked onto it. And I'm not saying I know, but I'm saying I think that they're pushing a fake alien invasion in order to put their Antichrist into power.
Yes.
Because they're going to need somebody in that position that people will go, wow, we want to trust this person who's, from, whatever, and wants to help us because they've been watching us for 30 billion years.
Yeah. Exactly.
But you know what? The whole Earth being round thing, that's all part of the alien agenda too. Because if the Earth is round, then they can say there's planets, then they can say there's life on other planets, and then they can say there's alien life forms that made us.
That's why they keep pushing this
Mars
rover.
God.
The Mars rover supposedly finding signs of life, which, first of all, Mars rover could not possibly get data to us because we're trying to get data to each other, and we're, whatever it is, 1,000 miles away from each other.
Go up to our mountain house and tell me if you get a cell phone signal. We're getting data from the moon or Mars. Okay.
Yeah, the data signal gets worse the higher you go. If you go to the mountain, I was trying to think of something the other day. Sorry, I know we're live. If you go to a mountain, your data is worse, but supposedly satellites are in space. So wouldn't your data, or wouldn't your
right?
Wouldn't you have better access closer you get to the satellite? I don't know.
Well, what I think is funny about you mentioning satellites is GPS, global positioning satellite. Okay, so how comes when I get a weak cell phone signal, I have a weak GPS signal? Hello? I mean, if the satellite's right overhead, my GPS should be all lit up, but it always falls away. It'll say searching. Right. Then I look at my phone and I go, my cell phone signal's shot too. I got no signal. And I got no GPS. Oh, but it goes off a cell phone. No, it's supposed to go from a satellite. They're supposed to be beaming to you from a satellite.
My thing is, when police are looking for you and they want to track your cell phone, they track the cell phone towers, not a satellite.
Oh,
right.
Wow.
They track the ping from cell phone towers. Yeah, they track the ping from all the cell phone towers.
So you might want to mention Antarctica because people are like, where's the edge? Where's the edge? I hear that all the time. Where's the edge? If you read the Bible talks about, what does it say? Something that holds in the oceans. I can't remember right offhand, but Antarctica is not a continent on the bottom of a spinning ball. Antarctica is an edge around, and that's really important in understanding this because otherwise, you're going to keep thinking water's falling off the edge, and it's not moving. The Bible says that the earth is stationary. Correct.
And this is the thing, people. When it goes to going east or west, you cannot go straight east or west because what happens is magnetic north keeps you. If you go short spurts, you're going to look. You're going to assume that you're going west because you kind of are. But you're not going to go a straight line due west. You're not going to go in a straight line due east. What's going to happen is you're going to wrap around magnetic north. So it's going to be a big circle. You're not going around some ball. You're going to basically go in a big circle. So when people circumnavigate what they call the globe, you're going around the continents. But if you sail west, you're just going to wrap back around. Now, you can go north and south. The problem is once you start going south, get ready. I dare you to go out and get a jet and tell that dude, just fly south, man. I want to go to Antarctica. And tell me what happens. Oh, well, we can go there. We can take tours. Are you sure you went to Antarctica? Are you sure they really took you to what's called Antarctica? And if they did, it's a guided tour. What I dare you to do, if you really think you're in Antarctica, look at your tour guide and the people that you're there with and say, hey, I just shipped in some snowmobiles and stuff, and we're going to go kick it on our own, okay? Guys, you all take care. Let me know how that works out for you.
Yeah.
We're just
Your
going to go over here.
One of your friends just did a level on a flight. What's his name?
Daryl Marble. Daryl Marble.
I was impressed with that guy, let me tell you. So
how about that, Ninja?
Is that you?
No, that was no. With that, we had him on our. He was on one of our. Him and
but you know what?
Daryl.
There's levels on plane. There's already levels on plane. You know,
he had his
own.
I
mean, that's one of the instruments. Yeah, that's one of the instruments.
The gyroscope.
If you take a GPS, we had a guy take a compass on a flight, and he compared it to the compass that was on the back of a seat that he could see, and he said it was not the same. Did you see that one?
No, I didn't.
If you go from, I forget where it was Australia
I saw that one.
or somewhere to Australia. You did.
Yeah, I saw that.
And that's something that me and Daryl Marble were talking about. Now, Daryl Marble and Carly Sunshine were our first guests for this series of Flat Earth Testimonies. Okay. And yes, he took a level on a jet. And people are still trying to say that that's bullcrap. It doesn't prove that the Earth is flat. How can the level of the bead never moved? How can you argue that? The pilot never compensated. And going at 515 miles an hour, for every mile the Earth is supposed to curve 8 inches, that level, that bead should have constantly getting pushed to the back of that level. Right. That bead stayed straight center. I mean, that's called thinking outside the box. And these are the things we need to do. And I have been talking with him on the phone, and you're talking about the compass. We're trying to get people to set up some crazy flights and take a compass with them and literally show that they're going in a straight line. Yeah. That you're not going east, you're not bouncing back to west. And the only time you're going to do that is if there's like a storm or something they're trying to get around. But all in all, if you can figure where you're at with airspeed, you're going to go in a straight line.
Right.
But we are down to five. We're down to about 4 minutes left in live airtime. Real quick, I just want to do some announcements. Tomorrow night, we're Straight Out of Captivity with Ashley and Jess. Check out their show. It's an awesome show. We are going to be packing 7 days a week here very, very shortly. And also our sister network, the Gateway Radio Network, with Michael Connolly and everybody else over there. Tuesday nights, we have Our Reality with Eva. Wednesday nights, we have Question Everything with Jimmy Gray. Of course, Thursday night, right here, you got The New Element. And then also my new show, 215 Live, which I will be doing probably every other Saturday, which we're going to have some fun topics there as well. And Ninja, you just joined me recently. We had Daryl Marble on. So we got a couple minutes left. Cyndi, can we get some final thoughts, just to wrap it up before the show shuts off? And I know you got mommy duties to do, and I got to get up early.
So there's a couple things. Number one, I want to say this revelation for me has changed my life for the better. This isn't something that confused me or made my life worse. It gave me more peace and brought me closer to God. And I heard Robbie say it on the show last week or whenever that was, God is right above us. He's not in a bajillion galaxies away. And when you realize that he's directly above us and he's looking down on us, just like the word says, he's looking down on us, that's peaceful. So you guys that aren't sure or that don't like this subject, please just look, because you're going to find more peace than you've ever had. I have more peace. I'm not saying my life is perfect now, but it's better. It's just better. And I want to say this, too. The people that I've met, and I've met some in person and I've met some just on Facebook or on technical devices, the people I've met through this have just been like rock solid people. Like, I love these people I haven't even met. And I'm blown away by the love and just the camaraderie. Sure, there's a lot of drama. There's always drama. But for the most part, it's been a blessing. I feel empowered. I feel blessed, and I'm so happy to be where I am. Even if everybody else hates me, I'm okay with it. I'm going to still
just
do
give them time. They'll come around.
Yeah, they will, and I pray for everybody, too.
Truth grows, and it's growing.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. When you hear these talking heads, like Barry Soetoro out there, and he's like, we don't have time for the Flat Earth Society. I mean, they've pulled these things before in the past because they're trying to discredit people. And by the way, don't go to the Flat Earth Society for any answers because
correct.
They're not quite there. I mean, they got some craziness going on with them.
I think was infiltrated by somebody or many people who wanted to discredit this movement.
Yes.
And so they're putting out things that make it questionable. So I learned that very early.
Here we go.
Go ahead.
Here we go. Oh, there it is.
We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
Can you, shut up?
Amen. I agree.
So we're down to a minute and a half left. I want to thank everybody out there for tuning in tonight for Flat Earth Testimonies Part 3. And I hope it's sinking in, not only the real Earth, but, also the fact that we have a God. There's a God out there. And I love that with these testimonies. It just goes to show the power of God. He's able to reach into our lives and kind of straighten us out from the lies of the world. We knew who the God of this world is, and he ain't about telling the truth. So, Cyndi, I want to thank you so much for your time and all that you do. And I hope you had a good time tonight, because I know you were left with a bad taste in your mouth on the last show you did because, evidently some people out here are out doing it for likes, and we don't like people doing it for likes.
Well, the negative comments that
truth.
were left there definitely didn't help.
Yeah, some people need to learn how to get a grip on their YouTube channel. We kind of watch the comments and allow certain ones. We protect our guests. That's what it comes down to. Right. So I want to thank everyone for calling in. Ninja, my brother, thank you once again for another awesome show. Cyndi, thank you. God bless. And thank you for your time. All listeners out there, thank you for tuning in to Infamous Source Broadcast Network, and we are out.
Love you, Stacy.